All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to day 44 of the challenge. And as you can see, I'm already walking. This is not my typical approach when I commute to campus. I typically will walk around on campus, and that's how I get my movement, which I'm still going to walk when I'm there because it's just inevitable. I prefer to meet with people in person, um, and plus, it's just so beautiful. And the weather's so nice, it's just nice to walk around and not be stuck behind my computer. But um, I've decided, I said, you know what, I have to be more intentional on Wednesdays because it's a guarantee I'm not going to be home until like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And when I first started this challenge, something I learned very quickly, you really need to figure out your schedule very early on, or else you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're on a spin bike at 10 o'clock at night after commuting for 4 hours total and teaching for the day. It was not fun, but I was committed to the challenge. So I was like, okay, I have to be more intentional about walking around on campus a little bit more. So I did that. But then there was last Wednesday when I was in San Antonio. And Wednesdays, if I don't go to campus, it's almost like having, I don't know, kind of like a free day because I block so much of my schedule to just travel, basically. Um, and so I was able to take like an hour and 15, 16-minute walk. And I thought, I should do that on Wednesdays. It's not going to be an hour and 16 minutes, but I can manage to walk for 20 minutes before work or before I get myself ready for work. So that's what I'm doing now. Um, I also considered CrossFit, but the thing is, classes, the last class in the morning is at 8:30, and you would think like, oh, that's not too bad. It's not too bad if you fall asleep at like 11 p.m., but that's not going to work if you're not falling asleep until 1:30 in the morning. It's just not going to work at all. So my main thing on commuting days is I have to rest and I have to take care of myself. If I don't do that, it's going to pose some real challenges while commuting because I'm the one driving myself, essentially. So um, I prioritize rest. And I think if you guys have figured it out, most of my writing time happens at night. Um, Not that I can't write during the day, that seems to only happen on the weekend versus during the week, for a variety of reasons. Every now and again, I can do some writing during the day, but most of the time, it's happening from 8:30 to 11:30 at night. That's just what it is. I also think after many years of being, uh, what do they call people? Academics. Anyways, after many years of being a night student, I just think I'm used to going to school at night. I'm also used to doing homework at night. That's just what I'm accustomed to because I always work during the day. So it is really hard. And I've tried it off and on to where I work on my paper during the day. And that only seems to work on the weekends. And I think because of the type of person that I am, um, I just feel like the daytime is work and any appointments that I may have, even if it's a doctor's appointment, whatever the case may be, that's what the daytime, my mind is fixated on that. It's a little rigid. I think I've established that with you guys before. I can be a little rigid. So, but I still try to work through it. So that's the plan for today. I'm walking now. I will get about 20 to 30 minutes, which I do want because I need the vitamin D. Um, And I will write when I come back home. Big shout out to my friend, my editor, publisher, all the things. Again, one of these days I will talk to you guys about my indie author children's book journey sooner rather than later, because I actually have an event this Saturday. I was wondering if I was still going to have this event to attend, but I got a really nice text message asking me if I needed anything, and I'm like, oh, so the event is happening. All right, tracking. I really, I had not turned down, because the way book festivals work is that you apply to get in, and I didn't apply to any of them this year. And it's hard. It is so hard. But I know when I do book events, it's not like a day-long thing, but in terms of prep, that means that prep is going to take away from writing. And so that's the catch-22. So that's why I haven't been doing much of anything as an entrepreneur. When I met with my creative partner this summer, which I'll talk more about her and I later on, we always meet annually in Seattle, and we do what's called a creativity retreat. And it's basically me kind of laying out my editorial calendar for the year and what are my goals. And so obviously I've been doing this doctorate, and I said, I have to write. I cannot add anything to my plate that is going to distract from what I need to get done. Point blank, end of story. And I will tell you, I have moments where I'm like, but I can promote this right now. I should be doing this right now, but I can't. Because if I want to graduate in 2025, in May, this is what it requires. I have to make that sacrifice. But don't you guys worry. You know, I have my weekly vlog, so I will take you guys along, and you guys will get to see me pack up my books. You'll actually get to see the book for once. I have two. One called Sweet Potato and Mud Pies, and my second book is called Picture Day. So I have that going on. And Saturday night, we are going to go see Usher. So y'all are getting like 2 events within the same day. Yes, I did schedule it that way. But the folks I've been working with around this event, they have been asking me, I think for the last year, we have been trying to coordinate something to where I could participate in one of their events. So it's one of those things that I was like, I'm not going to say no. I'm just going to show up and do the thing. So I'm excited. One thing I will say is, even though I work with college students and preparing them to work with young children or provide them more guidance on how they can enhance their skills, because most of them are already working with kids or with children. I miss working with children. I do. I love working with adults. I really, really do. But I really miss working with young children and families. And I hope and pray this time next year that I'm able to have my program called Outback Learning LLC up and running, which is a home-based, nature-based preschool program. That's my prayer. All I need is 4 kids. But anyways, I guess I told y'all a little bit more about my entrepreneurial life than what I planned. But that's the plan for today. Walking during the day, and then step number 2 is writing tonight. And I know I'll get that done. Got everything prepped up nicely, so I can do the revisions, finish the revisions of chapter 2. I had to do some solid research, because my chair said I had a really old source, and I'm like, ugh, I know, but anyways, so I had to find some updated information about this particular um, program. So I did find some updated information as late, I think it was 2021, 2022 source. Thank God. So hopefully she will accept that. And um, the last other piece is writing chapter 2 or writing chapter 2, writing the summary. So, and my friend has already did corrected one of my one formatting things, which was my table of contents. I didn't have dots. So at least that's corrected. So I feel like I'm on track, wrapping up with chapter 2 by tonight, and then going into chapter 3 for the coming week. All right, you guys might be a part of a car chronicle. If not, I will catch you tomorrow. But I'm pretty confident you guys are going to go along for a car ride. All right, talk to you later. All right, what's up, everyone? I told you guys I was probably going to hop back on for the car chronicle. Cannot be commuting and not do a car chronicle for you guys. So, all right. I did some filming for the weekly vlog because I had not, well, I take that back. I only did like kind of, what is it, a B-roll shot or like an opening shot for the vlog. And I did that, I think, on Monday, but I hadn't did any like talking or anything. So I like to do the weekly vlogs for those that like more long form content and are just not really interested in my challenge. And honestly, like I like a combination of things. There are channels that I like where they're giving day-to-day updates on their projects, whatever it is that they're doing. I just really like that kind of content. But I also like channels that just vlog. Like, I really just like those types of channels. And I know some will say like, oh, you should have 2 different types. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like more for me to manage. And not just managing, but also personally, if it's a personal brand type of channel, which is my intent of this channel, then you're going to see different aspects of my life. And so the long form vlog gives you more of like what happens outside of my life, the lifestyle part, the things that I genuinely enjoy doing, stuff like that. So that's the whole purpose of why I like to do the weekly vlogs. And plus, it really challenges me to work on my editing skills. Guys, I'm not an editor by any means, but I certainly try. I am learning a lot. I feel like I'm growing in a way that I never imagined, but I actually enjoy it as well. Like, I really enjoy the opportunity to just kind of piece together the vlogs and stuff like that. So it's just fun. All right, so I was going to hop back on last night to talk to you guys after class, but I did not. I'm trying to remember, what was it? I think it was just a combination of things. Oh, I know what it was. I did get a text message from my mom saying, don't call us tonight, we're going to the game. So I did not talk to them, and then I shared with her, I said, actually, I almost canceled with you anyway, because I wanted to work on my paper and just kind of get some things in order for work as well. So it worked out in my favor. So last night in class, and it's that time of the semester where we have guest speakers, and I met this guest speaker, which I can say her name because she's got an Instagram page. Her name is Willow Blith Carroll. You can follow her on Instagram. I can't remember if she has a YouTube channel or not, but she is on Instagram. And basically, she talks about like mindfulness and reflection. And in this particular class, it's my nutrition, health, and safety course, which at my college, one of the core values is your well-being. And so I wanted to be more intentional in this particular course on making sure that every week we did some sort of weekly reflection, kind of check in and see how we're doing each week. And I'd like to say it was very successful. I think it's been really good because, to be honest with you, teaching the course, it can get a little dry and it can get a little boring because we're literally talking about state licensing standards, as childcare providers and stuff like that. So I try to find ways to make the class engaging and fun. And so when I met Willow back in May at a convening, an early childhood convening at BAD, and she presented, I knew, I was like, oh my gosh, I need her to be a guest speaker in one of my classes. And I knew which class it was going to be. So I'm super excited that it came to fruition. Super excited. And she's actually going to do a couple of things next semester for us as well. So the students said that they really appreciated it a lot, and I appreciated it. And I guess my point is of what I really want to get down to was one of the questions, and I'm really paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact question, but it was really, the idea was to think about like kind of your past, your present, and your future. And when I think about these three areas, and you're kind of looking at them from like a purposeful perspective, at least that's how I interpreted it. So even though the students did the activity, I participated as well. I didn't do any talking. I was like, if they want to share what they put up, they can share it. And basically, I realized when I had to think about my future self and where I saw myself, I really had no idea. I was like, I don't know. Like, I really have no idea where things are going to go for the next 9 years. I know what's happening not like I know, but like just naturally what will happen in my 50s per se. My parents will be older, so I might need to be more flexible with my schedule, like not working in a situation where I can't travel or be with them. It's just going to be a different time. And not to say that can't happen in my 40s, not saying that at all. But there may come a time in my life where I just need to be able to be a little bit more flexible with my schedule. Or there may not ever be a time. I don't know. I'm not God. I don't try to be God. I don't try to do any of those things. But it was one of those moments where I realized I feel like I'm living now in my purpose, and where I'm working, the things that I'm doing, and I'm working towards that greater, bigger piece of my purpose. I don't know the full fulfillment of it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just know that there's more that God wants out of me. I just don't know what that is. And I haven't really, it's something I think about, but it's not, I've never really been able to pause and really dwell on it in the way that I was able to do it in class with my students last night. And it's like, up until this point in my life, I pretty much kind of had an idea, like, okay, well, we're going to raise our great niece until, she graduates high school. Well, that changed 3 years ago. So, having children or not having biological children, like, there's just so many different layers to it, and where I thought my life was going to be. And it's almost kind of a question that I feel like I've avoided sometimes, because I never thought my life would be this way. I never thought I was going to be an empty nester at 41. I never thought that. I never even imagined that. And the only thing that I can slightly compare this to something, or it was when my husband was medically retired from the Army. We had, not we, but you know what I mean. He wanted to be career Army for 20 years.
even though I was like, my goal in life was not to marry someone in the military, but he was not in the service. I mean, joke was on me. God was like, girl, you had plans, but I had other plans for you. And he wasn't. He wasn't in the service when I met him. It was something he shared, like in our first date. Like he said, I've always wanted to go into the Army. And I was like, oh, that's great. So here we are, almost 19 years married in March. So not a bad decision. It was a great decision. I'm still thanking my 21-year-old self. She had some sense. But that being medically retired was devastating in a lot of ways because there was a lot of uncertainty. But I knew he was going to be okay. Like, we knew that. We just didn't know what it was going to look like. You know what I mean? And this has almost been 10 years this coming March. So I kind of feel like I'm in that season of my life. And the big pivot and transition for me wasn't an injury. It was no longer being a parent guardian, no longer being in a mother role. And if you've ever had that time in your life where you've had just like a big shift, that you didn't see coming, but it just happened, there's kind of this season of like you're just figuring things out and things don't become clear to you until you keep living and showing up every day for yourself. And that's where I feel like I'm at when I think about my future self. It's not really clear what it is, but I just know that I'm living in what I'm supposed to be doing right now. That's super, super clear. Super, super clear. I just don't know you can't ask me what 10 years is going to look like. If this was 10 years ago and I was 31, I could have told you, oh, I'm going to be a special education teacher. I knew that. I was confident in that. But I even know that the season that I'm in the college, because this was something I never planned for. I was only supposed to be an adjunct faculty. That was my only goal. I wanted to work in my field in adjunct. That's what I wanted to do. Again, God just laughed at me and said, oh, that's cute. You want to be an adjunct. Oh, that's really cute. That's not the case. I ended up being full-time, and the same year that I came into higher education was the same year I became an entrepreneur. So I've been in both spaces for 6 years, and 4 years ago went back to school to finish my doctorate, which I'll have to share that story on another day. But my point is that I got some things to reflect and think about and keep praying about to know where's the next pathway to go left or right. So anyways, you all have an amazing day. I still have a good hour and 45 minutes to where I need to be. But I'm going to check in. I need to call my aunt back, my great aunt back, because she's called me. And I usually talk with my editor, publisher, and I need to verify with her if she's okay if I say her name, so I don't say her name, just for privacy reasons. But I just like to respect the fact that like not everybody wants to be known, but not everyone, but she might be okay with it, So anyways, you guys have an amazing day 44. As you know, I've already knocked out my walking, and I will be writing tonight when I get back home. And fingers crossed I get out of class early. Let's hope class is over like at 7 or 7:15. Fingers crossed. That means I'll get home sooner. All right. Have a good day. Have a good night, and have an amazing morning. Until next time, take care. Okay, guys, it is literally midnight. Technically, it's day 45, but I just wanted y'all to know that I got on this computer and I sure enough did my chapter 2 revisions. I did not finish the summary,
But I don't know if I mentioned it took me 3 days to research a source, to find an updated source to a current source that I was using. So I at least got that done. Y'all send some prayers because I meet with my chair today um, in like 13 hours, 13 and a half hours. So let's just pray it goes well. I'm going to stop recording. Good morning, good night, or I should say good night, good morning. I'm going to crash out here in a little bit because I have a very early day, starting with getting these nails done because I'm going to see Usher on Saturday. Yeah, so the next 2 days are about to be really busy because I've got to prepare to travel, but at least it's by car. And also, I have to prepare to make sure that I'm ready for the book signing and reading and all of that on Saturday. So, thankfully, I told my better half while I was driving home tonight, I was like, so I have a book signing reading thing on Saturday. He was like, how long have you known? I'm like, they sent me a text today, so that's another story for another day. But, anyways, thank you guys for cheering me on. And I know today's video is going to be super long, so please bear with me because I feel like it's going to be 20, 30 minutes. But good night and good morning. I'm rambling. Have an amazing day. I'll see y'all like when I've slept for day 45. All right, good night.